What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classic. And today we got a fun reaction. 10 random bands that our long time Patreon Richard has not featured on the channel. So it's a great eclectic mix that I know you were going to love. I say that confidently because I have confidence in Richard's musical taste. I don't know most of these artists, but just take my word for it. You can trust me. Appreciate Richard. Appreciate all the patrons who make this thing go. If you haven't checked it out, check out the Patreon link below or the Patreon link on the Instagram. We can do some cool stuff. We're running a free trial. We program the channel almost entirely from Patreon suggestions, and we couldn't do it without them, so super appreciate it. All right, not going to have any quick facts, obviously, because, it's a top 10 random bands list. So let's jump into it with number 10. So number 10, we got the Twilight Sad. It Was Never the Same from the album Nobody Wants to Be Here and Nobody Wants to Leave in 2014. Twilight Sad are a Scottish post-punk indie rock band comprising James Graham on vocals, Andy McFarlane on guitar, Johnny Dockery on bass, Brendan Smith on keyboards, and Grant Hutchison on drums. They've released 5 studio albums as well as several EPs, live recordings, and singles. They've described their sound as, quote, folk with layers of noise, and music critics have described the band as, quote, perennially happy, and a band that injects some real emotion and dynamic excitement into a comparatively standard template. Okay. If you haven't been with us before, the music won't be up in the video, but it's going to be at a Vimeo link below. Check that out. I'm going to have the lyrics up as always. Thanks again, Richard. All right, the Twilight Sad, It Was Never the Same. Absolutely love the vibe of that song. And something went really wrong there, right? Everything was destroyed, and so that's kind of what this song is about. It'll never be the same. A lot of us have been in those situations in various aspects of our life, but man, I love the soundscape of that. Number 9, we got Starsailor. Silence is Easy off the album of the same name, all the way back in 2003. They're an English post-Britpop band formed in 2000. Since their formation, the band have included guitarist and vocalist James Walsh, drummer Ben Byrne, bassist James Stelfox, and keyboardist Barry Westhead. 6 studio albums, have scored 10 top 40 hits in the UK. This was the lead single from the album, went to number 9 in the UK, their highest position that they have had. So that's pretty cool. It was one of 2 songs on the album that was produced by, wait for it, he's a maniac, he's insane, he's a horrible person, but he's a great producer, Mr. Phil Spector. All right, Silence is Easy. Really like that as well. I think Richard and I have very similar tastes. I think I'm probably going to like all of this, but they just repeat the chorus 4 times at the end. Silence is Easy, it just becomes me. You don't even know me. You all lie about me. Been around those types of people before. Starsailor, getting it done. All right, next up we have Scarlett with Independent Love Song from the Naked album in 1994, their debut. They're an English pop duo from Yorkshire, England. They consisted of Cheryl Parker, vocalist and guitarist, and Joe Yule, pianist, keyboardist, and vocalist. 2 albums, this one and one 2 years later in 1996. So the single went to 10 in Ireland and Scotland and 12 in the UK. All right, Independent Love Song, they're doing it a different way. She talks about she's going to love, they've loved, but they're going to do it a different way. In other words, she talks about all these men. She might let them take them home, but she's only going to, be with the ones long term that she really likes. So kind of flipping the normal, male stereotype of being with all these girls and, leaving them. And she's like, I don't have to be dependent on a man. It's an independent love song. I can have my life and be with who I want to be and choose when I want to do that. The money to this song is that chorus. That soaring chorus is so infectious. I kept looking forward to it coming up again. So really good. Now we got Fiction Factory at number 7. Heaven, but Feels Like Heaven. The parentheses feels like. Throw the Warped Wheel Out from 1984, their debut. They only have this album and one more the next year. It's the second single, 6 in the UK. They had no other notable success beyond this song, so they're considered a one-hit wonder. It's written by Kevin Patterson and Eddie Jordan shortly after they'd formed Fiction Factory with Chic Medley. The lyric has been described by the band as an anti-love song, while recognizing it has come to have a different meaning for different people. I mean, the last song, Independent Love Song, I wouldn't say it was an anti-love song, but it's kind of like that. So let's go. All right, Feels Like Heaven. Just has that beautiful sound of 1984. Brings me back to when I was, barely a teenager, and I just love the soundscape of this type of stuff. I could give you a bunch of examples. I won't, but it's too bad they didn't have any other hits. I saw it. It didn't hit in the U.S., but it hit in a lot of other areas. But it just has that sound, that little after Feels Like Heaven. It just sticks in your head, man. All right, next up we have Electrasy, Morning Afterglow from the In Here We Fall album in 2000. They're an English rock band formed in 1994 in Dorset, UK. The band consists of vocalist Ali McKennell, guitarist Nigel Nisbet, and Steve Atkins, bassist Alex Meadows, who joined the band before they recorded this album, drummer Paul Pridmore, and keyboardist Jim Hayden, who left the band by 2001 and rejoined in 2022. So he's on this. They were active until 2002, although several members of the band, still based in the UK after this time, continued to perform occasional gigs. 4 studio albums, so they got back together, 98, 2000, 2008, and 2023, so 15-year gap. All right, let's get it. All right, Morning Afterglow. Fantastic arrangement. Not a lot to the lyrics. He wants to run away. He's figured out in the next morning this girl, he might be falling in love with her, so he's fighting that urge to want to run away because, obviously he's scared he's going to get hurt. But I thought that his vocals were great, the keyboards, the guitar. It just was a really soaring arrangement song that worked perfectly. All right, we're to the top half of Richard's list. We got stellastarr, Jenny, from the stellastarr album in 2003, their debut. They were an American indie rock band in New York City. Its members were Sean Christensen, great name, man, vocals, rhythm, guitar, Amanda Tannen, bass and vocals, Arthur Kremer, drums, percussion, and keyboards, and Michael Jurin, lead guitar and vocals. 3 studio albums, 1 EP. They were named after an old purple hearse parked in Poughkeepsie, where Christensen grew up. The band has toured with Jane's Addiction, the Ravenettes, Placebo, The Killers, one of my favorites, and Editors. Frontman Sean Christensen is an Academy Award-winning filmmaker, having won the Academy Award for Best Live Action Short Film for his 2012 short Curfew. He's also a professional painter. His award-winning art has been displayed at various New York exhibits and published in journals like Metropolis and The Village Voice. He painted the portraits inside the album artwork for the group's debut album, a real renaissance man. All right, Jenny, stellastarr. Fantastic guitar work. Sean really builds, not this one, the other one, but he spells it the same way, so kudos to Sean Christensen. Really, really comes in on these vocals, and you feel him getting more and more emotional, so I thought that was a great choice. All right, next up we have The Upper Room, the song Black and White off Other People's Problems in 2006. Their only album. You're not going to see it below because it's not on Spotify, so I'll play a YouTube version of the song. They were a rock band based in Brighton, England. Sony Records were brought to the band's studio via mutual friends, and they were signed in time for their first single, All Over This Town, in summer of 2004. The single's 2006 video featured actress Kate Sissons, who also appears in the video for their second major release, this one, Black and White, in April of 2006. This is their only album, and it was recorded in Derry Studios, Brixton, with Paul Schroeder, or Schrader, you can say that name either way, who previously worked with the Stone Roses. This was a single, went to 22 in the UK, their biggest hit, but of course they only had 2. Let's get it. All right, Black and White, what a song. You saw me singing along with it. I always mute my mic so you don't have to hear me. You're welcome. So good. It has a lot of that soundscape I like. Not the same soundscape as the Twilight Sad, but that soundscape is so catchy, man. It's crazy these guys didn't make it any bigger than they did, but I mean, the musical landscape in history is littered with this kind of stuff, but it's Black and White for him. He's seeing everything crystal clear with this girl now. I mean, that's what this is about, but great song. Next up, we have Young the Giant, their song Cough Syrup off the Young the Giant album in 2010, their debut. They're an American rock band that formed in Irvine, California in 2004. The band's lineup consists of Samir Gotti on lead vocals, Jacob Tilley on guitar, Eric Cantona on guitar, Payam Dutsadeh? Yeah, on bass guitar, and Francois Comtos on drums. Yeah, we got some challenging names in case you hadn't figured it out. Formerly known as the Jakes, they were signed by Roadrunner Records in 2009. Their first 3 singles all charted on the U.S. Alternative Songs chart, 5 studio albums, 5 EPs. This song, which was number 3 on the Billboard Alternative Songs chart. Lead vocalist Samir explained that this song was written at a time when the band was unsigned, had no money, and, quote, didn't really know what to do with themselves. The group, he continued, felt somewhat oppressed by the universal expectation of what to do in Orange County and suburbia in general. It's the LA area, in that area. I think we really yearned to break out and do something a little bit different. He said the song is kind of a cry for help to break free, not necessarily from oppression, but the common symptoms of suburbia like boredom, normality, and homogeneity. Bassist Payam, in a 2011 interview, said that the song, being the oldest song in their catalog, it's kind of hard to play it for us. It's kind of hard for us to play it. He added, I mean, we've had it for years, and it's just now getting on the radio, but our fans don't know that. All right, Cough Syrup, or Cough Syrup, as Samir says. A really good song. Don't do that, boys and girls. But they're taking the cough syrup to try to escape from their boredom of suburbia, right? There's worse problems, but I get it, man. Really well done. The guitar work on here, the instrumentation's fantastic. Well-constructed song. I can see why it was a hit, and I'm surprised they didn't have more. All right, next up at number 2, we got Turin Breaks, Underdog, in parentheses, Save Me, from the Optimist LP in 2001. They're an English band comprising an original duo of Ollie Knights and Gail Perajanian and longtime collaborators Rob Allam and Eddie Meyer. They had a UK top 5 hit 2 years later in 2003 with their song Painkillers, Summer Rain. Since starting out in 1999, they've sold around 1 million records. They have 9 studio albums, and ironically enough, I never heard of them until about a month ago at the time of me filming this. I did this album for one of our other patrons, Ian, so it is up on the channel. Save Me, just a really well done song. I remember it, after hearing the album, but I mean, I've only heard it once. It's fantastic, man. The guitar work on here in particular is really well done, but yeah, good choice for number 2. Now remember, as we get to the first song and our first artist, number 1, these are not songs, they're the artists, and just, Richard's picking a song representative of the artist. So it's really an artist list, but I always say this, I always got to quantify. I got to go by the songs because that's really all I know from almost any of these guys. Well, I would drum roll it up, but you already see it. Number 1, we got Stephen Fretwell, Emily, off the Magpie album in 2004, his debut. He's an English singer-songwriter. He's released 4 studio albums. He's often compared with acts such as Bob Dylan, Fred Neil, and Tim Buckley. Though receiving critical success, he's enjoyed little commercial success. His music has been described as folk rock, a genre combining mainstream rock and pop with American folk music and poetic or introspective lyrics. He also has 3 EPs, and his first album was called a mini album, so you can kind of do with that whatever you want. This song went to number 42. We're actually going to watch the video for this one. All right, Emily. Really well done video. I know it's not, when I blow it up, it's not the highest quality because, this guy didn't have a lot of money, right? Steven didn't have a lot of money, but really well done video. Really plays out the song. And boys and girls, I've watched 1,000 million videos in my life. I know that's not a number. And, a lot of videos don't play out the song. You just had to have a video. But really does a good job. Emily is using this guy. Like, whenever she needs someone, he's there. But, he's invested emotionally, and she's not. Once she's done with him, she leaves and goes to other people and, breaks his heart, but then comes back and takes her back every time. So he's trying to reconcile that and not do it anymore. And if you've ever been in that cycle of a relationship, it is a difficult, heartbreaking thing, but really, really liked this one. And that's going to bring me to my faves. Remember, I'm choosing my favorite songs. Maybe it's not representative of the artist, but I try to narrow it down here, but I guess I didn't do a very good job. There's 6 on here, but honorable mentions: Fiction Factory, Feels Like Heaven, Young the Giant, Cough Syrup. Faves are going to be the first song, Twilight Sad. That probably doesn't surprise you. It Never Was the Same. The Upper Room, Black and White. And these last 2 songs, Turin Breaks, Underdog, Save Me, and Stephen Fretwell, Emily. So thank you to Richard for putting this together. He puts together a fantastic list every single month. Always appreciate him. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below. And if you're looking for somebody, some artist, anything, look in that search bar up there, type something that you're interested in. Everyone might be up on the channel. We've got over 3,000 videos. And until next time, guys, I will see you.